Russia is a prime example of the absence of statehood. You can call Russia whatever you like, a mafia organization, a club of slaves united by common interests, a swinger party where most of the population is always in the same position. But one thing is certain, modern Russia cannot be called a state because the Kremlin has eliminated all the hallmarks of statehood. The justice system? Gone. Now, people won't even be tried for crimes, they'll be handed weapons and a cash reward right away.
Let me remind you, the proposed bill specifically proposes allowing individuals to sign military contracts even if they are currently defendants or on trial at the crucial stage when the prosecutor has already officially sent the criminal case to the court for further proceedings.
International obligations? Gone. The Constitution? Gone. Until 2036? Yes. But her term is about to end soon. Not a bad president. Except, of course, basic civil rights and legitimizing power through elections? Gone. Of course, a state can exist without elections and with a subjugated population, as a monarchy or a dictatorship. But Russia doesn't even have that. Putin's power and authority are already being openly challenged.
Well, here's my opinion. 30 years ago they broke up the Union. Yeltsin sold out to America. And everything that's happening now, damn it, well, is all betrayal. The traitors are sitting in the Kremlin. That's it, period. Planes are crashing, explosions are happening, they get rid of inconvenient people, throw them in prison, damn it, they do whatever they want. So, guys, we need to understand that coming back from the front to civilian life, well, in reality, the war doesn't end.
The idea that the balding Aquila has messed up and needs to be kicked out is already floating around even in the propaganda studios.
So let's move on to concrete solutions. If that requires the resignation of the Supreme, well, as my friends say, I understand that I'm not the one whose pay grade allows for such decisions, but let's still take the best of what we have.
The chubby Sharpay was probably talking about creating a Supreme Command headquarters, like under Stalin. But what's important here is the reaction of everyone else in the studio, who understood his words in a completely different way.
As they often say,
everyone heard exactly what they wanted to hear. The resignation of the Supreme. Putin started the war to strengthen his own power and go down in history as a great conqueror and unifier of lands.
During the formation of the Soviet Union, originally Russian territories that had absolutely nothing to do with Ukraine and never had any connection to it at all, such as the entire Black Sea region and, well, the western Russian lands, were handed over to Ukraine with a strange justification to increase the percentage of the proletariat in Ukraine.
But Ukraine has shown that Putin is just a boy in underwear with brown stains.
They took a 3-year-old child, a little boy in underwear and a t-shirt like Jesus, and made him to a border field.
Putin has lost authority not only in the world, but what is most frightening for him in Russia itself. Now Putin's power is being openly challenged and is being done demonstratively. The conflict around wild berries may become the beginning of the end for the O0 cooperative. Wild berries is the largest marketplace in Russia, with a turnover of billions of dollars. People in Ukraine heard about it when Russian soldiers were looting its branches in the Kursk region. Hey, wait, was that even allowed? Naturally, in the mafia-like entity known as the Russian Federation, such a lucrative business was immediately targeted by those in high offices. But it turned out there were 2 such offices, and now it's unclear which one is higher. The founder of Wildberries, Tatyana Bakalchuk, turned to the head of Putin's administration for support, in other words, to Putin himself. And her husband ran to seek protection from Kadyrov.
I mean, we used to go to the same celebrations, and they truly helped us 8 years ago. So when all this happened, I also went to him for advice, and they readily offered to help. And thanks to that, I believe I'm indeed still alive and quite well, not in prison, and sitting here talking to you.
Who are you? I am Russia. I am hero of Russia, general, head of Chechen Republic, government official. I am Russia.
Ramzan declared that he would truly restore justice and take the business away in favor of his very own individual.
Ramzan, hello there. It's been quite a long time since we last saw each other. I heard you're having some significant problems over there.
Good afternoon. Things aren't going so well right now. Well, my wife left home, got involved with some questionable company.
Kadyrov couldn't have been unaware that Wildberries is under Putin's protection. So it turns out, Kadyrov openly went against Vovochka, openly challenged his spheres of influence.
They really scare people with these problems and then make decisions that are truly unfounded and not thoroughly thought through. What is this, really? They've just completely lost their minds, you know?
Before the war with Ukraine, something like this would have been absolutely unthinkable. For a governor of a not-so-large and subsidized region to squeeze business away from the Tsar. And now Kadyrov is doing it boldly and brazenly, using weapons. Chechen militants, right in the center of Moscow, just 500 meters from the Kremlin, stormed the office of a company that is under the protection of the presidential administration. They killed 2 people. And what is Putin's reaction? Absolutely nothing. No one has been arrested or detained.
This is my longest ride yet, by far. A truly record one.
This whole situation is very reminiscent of the 90s, when criminal gangs, under the protection of various Kremlin elites, were carving up businesses.
Sergei, do you perhaps know what a Cossack is?
It's funny that Putin's main achievement was supposedly getting Russia out of the 90s. He got it out, spun it around in one place, and threw it right back in.
Where is this gang of patriots from United Russia leading us? Well, I believe that when people take responsibility, including for making decisions that may not be very popular but are extremely necessary for the country, it means they are mature individuals who make it their goal, the goal of their lives, the goal of their political careers to strengthen the country and improve people's lives.
Now Putin is losing control of the situation. He is no longer the main one. He is just the leader of one of the gangs. Conflict and division of interests can only happen between equals. If it were otherwise, Putin would have told Kadyrov, "Shut your mouth and get lost," and Kadyrov would have been shipped back to Grozny like a Wildberries parcel. But Putin can't do that. This means Putin's power isn't so stable after all. And he doesn't control Chechnya or, most likely, the other elites.
Well, like it or not, just endure it, my beauty. You have to comply.
Russia feels its own inherent weakness. No one proposes negotiations or a truce from a position of strength. That is always the action of a weaker opponent in a truly difficult moment when they genuinely believe that only negotiations can help them effectively get out of a tough situation.
Who can guarantee now that tomorrow Kadyrov won't want to privatize Gazprom or claim the palace in Gelenchik for himself? And who would stop him? He killed Putin's people in the center of Moscow and got away with it. Now there is information that thousands of Kadyrov's militants have already arrived in the Russian capital. As for why and for what purpose, they're open to speculation. If Kadyrov manages to take major businesses away from Putin, will he want to stop at just business? Let me remind you, Russia is not a state, it's an organized criminal group. And if the leader loses authority and shows weakness, he's thrown into a ditch and his place is taken. There are no other legal ways to change power in Russia.
You swore an oath not to the Tsar, not to the usurper, not to the president, not even to the state, but to the country and its people. And when the time comes, you must act in accordance with your oath, with honor and dignity. This person, the commander-in-chief, and those who are now commanding the armed forces, have also disgraced us. They had destroyed our reputation, which was built up over centuries.
And for that, Vladimir Putin has only himself to truly thank. And the Russian population, it seems, will swallow absolutely anything. Even Ramzan Kadyrov as their president and Abdiel Odinov as the patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church.
And today, we are truly the army of Jesus Christ. We are not hiding this important truth from anyone.
I would like to remind you that this video is created for entertainment purposes and contains elements of satire and irony. All facts and events are presented in a hyperbolized or exaggerated form to convey a comedic or dramatic effect. Our goal is not to mislead, but to highlight humor. Please take it with a smile.